Hey guys, how you doing tonight? This is Bear with Bear's Den Acrylic Art. We are back with another painting video. So, in light of the orange Harvest Moon debacle, I thought I would give this another go. This time with a neutral color palette, which is not something that I generally do. But I wanted to see what this would look like, you know, a neutral kind of Dutch pour. So I have a 16 by 40 canvas here that has been flooded with this custom, you know, darker beige. So there is some Van Dyke brown, there is white, there is raw umber, there's probably some pigment in here. This was kind of like a Frankenstein kind of bucket thing. So to that end, I do have a bunch of brown paints and pigments with some contrasting colors to go in to see what we can do with this. So we shall see. Now, before I get too far, let me show you the consistency of what we are working with. So I'm gonna come around. All right, so this is my raw umber. And, oops, let's get that in the frame. So what we're looking for here is a mound on a mound that almost immediately recedes into itself, okay? And all of my tube paints were mixed, about an ounce of paint to an ounce of Liquitex pouring medium to an ounce of Floetrol, and then cut with a little bit of water for consistency. Now the pigments were a little different. They were dispersed first in gloss varnish and then hydrated further with the Liquitex pouring medium. And then I got those together with some mix pour to get the right consistency. All right. So the first color going down, this is S'mores by TLP. And I'm sorry I don't have any clear cups. I'm trying to take it a little easy on the plastic. All right. So as far as composition goes, I kind of want to start in this corner, bring it across, and then up. All right. So I think that will look good. So yeah, so the S'mores is just a gorgeous, rich, deep kind of sparkly pigment. All right. And then for the second half, something like that. Perfect. All right, so the next color going down is my I'm sorry, I said that this was raw umber. That was a lie. This is Golden's raw umber light, or I'm sorry, burnt umber light. Is it raw or burnt? It is burnt umber light, okay, by Golden. And it's just this really nice chocolate brown. Yeah, I was at Michael's today kind of planning this out, and I was looking at the little 1 ounce bottles of the golden fluid, And I never noticed the raw umber light before. So I thought, okay, let's give that a go. All right, next, one of my favorite. This is Zeus by TLP. So this is still, you know, kind of in the same family, but I think the copper will provide some needed contrast, because I didn't want this to be all just, you know, brown on brown. All right, and these are, you know, the mound on the mound, immediately receding. A little thicker than normal, but it's because I want to control how wide these blow out. All right, so this is Fawn by, oh, I'm sorry, Burlap by Deco Art Americana. And we'll start over here just to kind of distribute. And again, this is a nice creamy contrast color. Alliteration, huh? Against the base coat and what is already on the canvas. Next, this is Caramel Drizzle by TLP, which plays beautifully with Zeus and S'mores. Yeah, I wanted to do this last night, but I mixed my paints and they were entirely too thin. So I kind of scratched that idea and wanted to come back in today with some mixed pour when I actually had the energy to thicken them up. All right, so White Pearl by Dazzling Art, or Deco Art Dazzling Metallics, pardon my dyslexia. And this, I just wanted further contrast. I'm hoping it doesn't compete with the burlap too much, but I think it'll be okay. And then we got two more colors after this. All right, so and I just touched the canvas. Fantastic, but that's gonna get blown over anyway. The penultimate color, this is Rich Espresso by Deco Art Dazzling Metallics. And I can tell just visually that these are thicker than what I normally do, because as I pour them out of the cup, it's coming out in kind of like a zigzag line. So when your paints are thicker and you pour them, gravity will distort the stream. All right, and I wanted to finish with something super dark. So this is Raw Umber by Liquitex Basics. And I find, you know, with my Harvest Moon stuff, when I finish with a dark color on top, one, I tend to get better lacing. And two, it allows, you know, the colors underneath to hold it up. All right, so just some housekeeping. We're gonna pop our bubbles. All right, I'm excited to blow this out. I want to see what this looks like. All right, so we are going to do what I normally do, and that is divide and conquer. So start in the middle, blow up, then we'll take care of this. Then we'll come back, blow down, then take care of that. So, fingers crossed, Drew Barrymore, do your thing. Just looking to see if there's anything I want to come back to. Okay. Oh, one more thing. All right, well, this was like blowing around sludge, but that is what I wanted. Because with the flower hairdryer, it's powerful enough, even on low, all right, where you're going to be able to move some paints around. And because I want to have multiple, my moons, the leafing, kind of go down the center, I wanted to try and keep the blowout as contained as possible. Now there are a couple places that I would like to fiddle with, because why wouldn't I? This part right here, okay, and probably just the center. But yeah, overall, I am super happy with how this turned out. This looks really, really pretty. Now, what's cool is that this did not go over the edge on this side. And my coffee maker just turned off. That's terrible. It did not really go over the edge on this side. A little bit towards the corner, but that's kind of what I wanted. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to clean up my edges. Then I am going to bring you in to see what this looks like, because I really like it. One thing I am a little surprised by, but it's probably because the paints were so thick, is that there is next to no cells or lacing. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. So anyway, let me clean up my edges and I will bring you in so you can see what this looks like. So I'll see you down here in a minute. Okay guys, here are the wet results. Pardon the glare as always, but we're gonna start at a better angle. Okay, so one thing, I love this, like, period. But I do wish there was a little bit more lacing. Well, I mean a little bit more, a little lacing or any lacing whatsoever. But I love this palette. You know, the neutrals are just really, really cool. And you can see there are just little itty bitty cells, you know, that have popped up here and there. Okay. Ooh, bad glare, sorry. But, you know, overall, you know, this is what happens when you blow out thicker paints. But, again, I love the palette. Now, the conundrum is, what color moon do I do? I mean, copper is probably going to be the closest thing. What I'm also debating is, instead of metal leafing, maybe try one, you know, with crackle paste, which is something that I think Mark Radcliffe did, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. So first things first, let's just see how this dries. So fingers crossed, because I love it. All right, friends. Well, thank you for joining me for this video. It always means a lot to me to know that you are giving of your time and you take the time to watch. So thank you. You know, if you're new and you like what you see, please consider hitting the subscribe and hitting that thumbs up. That helps me a lot. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified of when I upload new content, which is usually once a week. You know, please feel free to leave me a comment. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. So yeah. Now this, when it is dry and all of my other work is available for purchase, you can find said work on my website, www.bearsdenacrylicart.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under Bears Den Acrylic Art. You can follow and like me there. That'd be swell. Still don't know what TikTok is or does, so I'm not on that, but I'm working on it. So yeah, you can even email me directly at bear@bearsdenacrylicart.com. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I always appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video. Bye, guys. All right, guys, here are the dried and gilded results. Pardon the glare, but there are 6 coats of Liquitex Gloss Varnish on this bad boy. This turned out so well. I actually, under the leafing, I did some, I tried doing some crackle texture, but it didn't work because I had to keep painting over it. And that does not lend itself well to crackles, but you do get some really interesting texture. So I thought that'd be really cool. So what I love about this is, especially, in this part over here, like with the pigments, I mean, it literally looks superimposed. Now it helps that I outline this with my black Posca ultra fine, which I like to do just because, I don't know, it works for tattoos, and I think it works for this. So yeah, the only hitch in the giddy up, if you look here, and here, when I was applying the varnish, I had to wet my sponge first, and I guess I didn't wring it out enough, so it activated the paint in the outline. So it got dragged a little bit, but I actually think that looks really cool. It just gives this greater sense of motion. So all in all, the piggies, the caramel drizzle, the s'mores, the Zeus is amazing. That's why I wanted to do, a copper leafing. So this is a more neutral palette, but with the Burnt Umber, with the Burlap, the Burnt Umber Light, all of these conspire to make a very, in my opinion, beautiful painting.